I thank the gentleman for his information. I note that the Export-Import Bank, which of course expires on June 30th, is not among the scheduled pieces of legislation. As the gentleman knows, Speaker Boehner has been quoted as saying that if we don't pass the Export-Import Bank, that there are thousands of jobs on the line that would disappear pretty quickly if the XM Bank were to disappear. He then again said, as the chamber closest to the people, the House works best when it's allowed to work its will. The Majority Leader knows that I am absolutely convinced that the Export-Import Bank is supported by the majority of members of this House. But this House has not been allowed to work its will on the Export-Import Bank. Predecessors of yours and a very dear friend of mine, Senator Blunt, said not too long ago that he believed that if the bill were brought to the floor of the House, it would have the votes. More importantly, because he's now, of course, in the other body, but it was among the leadership in the other body, said that the bill had the votes in the Senate. I believe he's right on both of those observations. I understand the Majority Leader is not for the bill. It's my understanding that the Speaker is, so that I would hope that those of us who support it and, frankly, those who oppose it would have the opportunity, as the Speaker indicated, for the House to work its will. And can the gentleman tell me whether there are any plans prior to June 30th, when the Export-Import Bank authorization to give loans expires, are there any plans to bring that legislation before this House in a timely fashion so that the authorization would not expire? And I yield to my friend.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and the gentleman did state he knows my stance on this issue. And no, there is no action pending scheduled before the House.
I apologize. Could the gentleman repeat himself?
There is no action scheduled for this House. No.
Does the Majority Leader intend to therefore have the authority for the Export-Import Bank to expire, notwithstanding the Speaker's observation that it will cost thousands of jobs? And I yield to my friend.
Again, I thank the gentleman for yielding. There is no action scheduled at this appropriate time.
I thank the gentleman for repeating his answer. I heard that answer. But my question to the gentleman was, is it his intention that the Export-Import Bank expire and therefore not bring legislation to the floor?
I thank the gentleman for yielding for the third time with the same question. There is no pending action before this House for next week.
I thank the gentleman for repeating for a third time his answer to me. Mr. Speaker, I would simply observe sadly that the representation that the House can work its will on an issue of great importance to the United States and to jobs in the United States will not be brought to this floor, notwithstanding the fact that 180 Democrats have signed a discharge petition and 60 Republicans filed a bill to extend the Export-Import Bank. That is 240 votes, Mr. Speaker, as the Speaker well can add himself. 240 votes is a majority of this House. They reflect, in my view, Mr. Speaker, the will of this House. And it is extraordinarily regrettable that when the Speaker of the House says that if we don't do something, thousands of American jobs are going to be lost. It is particularly regrettable just after we had a vote on a bill that many people believe are going to lose us jobs, and therefore they opposed. How sad it is that we don't bring to the floor a bill which will, like 85 other countries, help us export goods. Those 85 countries, Mr. Speaker, are not going to stop helping their countries export goods. So the loss will be to our exporters and those they employ. I very much regret that won't be brought to the floor, and as the majority leaders told me, it is not scheduled. I know it's not scheduled. I lament the fact that it's not scheduled. And Representative Chris Collins of New York said, I can't figure out for the life of me why my party, the Republican Party, that stands for jobs, and in every conference meeting, it's jobs and the economy. The chairman of the Ways and Means Committee is on the floor. He talks about jobs and the economy. And here I am, says Chris Collins, in the minority of my own conference, fighting to defend the Export-Import Bank, which is the best example of creating jobs in America. I regret that that's not being brought to the floor. I won't ask the gentleman a question again because he's already told me it's not scheduled. And apparently there's no intent to schedule. I regret that.